What's up, guys? It's Fable Joey, and I am back with another review today, and this time we are reviewing Riverdale Season 2. Now, a little backstory of me with Riverdale. Riverdale is kind of one of those shows where it's like a guilty pleasure for me. I didn't expect I'd like the first season, and before we go into this review, I just want to mention, Season 1 of Riverdale for me is probably one of my favorite seasons of any show ever. I think Season 1 of Riverdale is really an A+. I love it. I think it's fantastic. And going into Season 2, I was nothing but optimistic. And after watching the finale tonight, I have come to a final verdict about Season 2, all its episodes and all that, and let's get right into it. Okay guys, so here we are. Here is our review of Riverdale Season 2. Now, before I get into all this, I'm just going to say that the first half is spoiler-free, so we're just going to be talking about how I like the season and whatever. And then the second half of the video will be full of spoilers. So if you haven't seen Riverdale Season 2 yet, be sure to check out the first part of the video and then possibly exit out afterwards if you don't want spoilers. So, Riverdale Season 2 is, I think, about 22 or so episodes long, and I have every single episode right here, and we're going to walk through them all, talk about what I like, didn't like about the season. Okay, so Riverdale Season 2 is a lot longer than Season 1 was, and I felt like one of the best parts of Season 1 was that it was so short. It was short, and it was fantastic, and I thought it was great. But Riverdale Season 2 has 22 episodes, and that's a lot of Riverdale. And personally, I think that if the Season 1 had been that long, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. And that's kind of what I'm going to get into in Season 2. Season 2, for me, is a really, really mixed bag, especially just because I don't know, I was expecting a lot more. So let's go through everything. The Season 2 starts out fantastic with the episode A Kiss Before Dying, which is the first return to Riverdale. Archie's dad has just got shot in Riverdale Season 1 at the very end. It's a perfect start into a new season for Riverdale. The episode's exciting. It ends on a perfect cliffhanger. I loved it. I loved the episode. I'd probably give it an A. Then you hit episode 2, Nighthawks. Just as good. I thought it was fantastic. Really, the first couple episodes. You got Season 2, Episode 3, great. 4, great. 5, great. And I'm looking at all of them right here. Episode 6, all fantastic. But then, you hit a point, you're going up farther, so it gets a little bogged down around 8 or so. And then you hit 10. And 10 is where I really noticed this. Until Episode 10 of Riverdale Season 2, The Blackboard Jungle, all the way, and I'm looking at all the episodes right here, that's why I keep on looking, all the way over to the last 30 seconds of the episode 18, A Night to Remember. This season is really, really awful. And we're going to get into why I think that. And really, that's awful, because if it show is 22 episodes long, and 8 or 10 of those episodes are really awful, and there's only about 12 good ones, that kind of says something about the show. And personally, I think there's a lot of great about Riverdale Season 2, and then there's a lot of bad about Riverdale Season 2. So basically, I think it starts out great. First 10 episodes, first 8 episodes, really, maybe even first 6, fantastic. And then, it's just awful, and bogged down, and boring, and frustrating, and just the same thing every week for like 10 episodes. And then the ending. From the last 5 episodes of the show, I think, starting at the episode 30 Seconds of a Night to Remember, and then Chapter 32, Prisoners. Prisoners is where it got insanely good. Prisoners, the episode, which is the 19th episode of the season, is probably one of my favorites. I'll get to my favorites of the season afterwards, but it gets insane. From episode 19 to episode 22, the show's fantastic. But there's so much there that was really just underwhelming, awful, that I didn't like, that I really can't give it a better score than I was hoping to. And I'm about to get into spoilers right here. So if you haven't seen Riverdale Season 2, I suggest that you click off this video. But for a final verdict before I go into spoilers, I thought it was good. Some of it. Some of it was good. Some of it was awful. And some of the character changes were really weird. And some of the weird music choices that they just pop in, also really weird. And that just didn't really settle with me. There is some great things, some bad things. Kind of a mixed bag for me. If you do want to see my final verdict of the season, just skip to the end and I'll give it my actual grading review. here we are, the spoiler section. Now, really, I am going to get into probably every spoiler in Riverdale Season 2, so I hope you click it off by now. So, Season 2. I already told you guys it was a mixed bag for me, which it is. And we're going to go over why. First of all, we're going to talk about character changes here, specifically Hermione Lodge, Archie Andrews, Jughead, Veronica, and Betty. Not necessarily, there's like one who's not the main character there, but anyway. Season 2 starts out pretty normal, pretty great, gets going. There's a huge character change. If you guys saw Season 1, you know that Hermione Lodge is kind of like, she's kind of just a mom. She's a normal mom. She's got to take care of her daughter because her husband is in prison. And she's kind of normal. She's kind of fighting against Hiram, which is her husband's name. And they're just kind of like, I don't know, she's kind of against him. But the second he gets back in Season 2, she just kind of turns into like the literal devil. And just does anything that Hiram asks her to, like immediately. The first episode, we're talking the first episode of Season 2, her character just immediately shifts, and we have no idea why. Maybe Hiram has like a certain kind of control over her, maybe not. I really don't know, but I just thought that was kind of stupid to change a character like that. Next, we're going to get into Betty. Betty is probably my favorite part about Season 2, because we kind of see her go through everything. Betty and Jughead are my two favorite characters in the whole show. I think Betty's probably my favorite, and Jughead's kind of tied, so maybe they're just tied for first. But I think that Betty's transition in Season 2 is great. Probably the biggest pro is that Betty kind of stays true, and when she gets off the deep end, she comes back. And she's not super crazy, and there's not a lot of changes. She stays fluid, which I like. And the changes that they made, I liked them. And it was nice. Okay, so really, Betty's changes are alright, so that's not a complaint. Veronica, on the other hand, she's different too. Weirdly, about halfway into the season, she's like super supportive of her dad, does everything, gets in the company, all that jazz, right? And she's like just a suck up to her dad. A couple episodes later, she's like, oh no, I hate him. It's like, I'm gonna work with you, Archie. And it's so weird. And her character, she's probably like one of my least favorites out of the whole Riverdale cast. Her character just really bumps up and down all the time. She has no idea what she wants to do. And she's like, there was a whole character arc, about 3 episodes taken up just to Veronica's ordination, being part of the family, you know, getting stuff done, getting the business, I guess. But really, it was boring, and it didn't help her character expand at all, really. Archie is probably the weirdest. In the first season, he's incredibly supportive of his father. When his father gets shot, he is the one to drive him to the hospital. He is the one that takes care of him, sits at the front door with a baseball bat, just in case someone comes, he can help his dad out. But he also, at one point in the season, gets in a little, like, argument with his dad, and then is a suck-up to Hiram Lodge, just like Veronica. Like, seriously, she and, like, they're both just crazy sucking up to Hiram. And he's just, like, he doesn't even care about his own dad or his family anymore. He's like, no, I'm just gonna work for you. And that lasts for about 6 or so episodes, and then it changes. So let's get over character changes and stuff and get into really some of the stuff that I don't like about the show. I feel like I already told you guys about that episode gap where it's just really boring and there's nothing new. Well, that was basically all of the Archie and Hiram stuff. We're just going to call this the Archie-Hiram section, because literally there were like 4 or 5 episodes just dedicated to building their relationship. Jughead would be off doing something, Betty would be off doing something. It was all just so mixed, and every episode was boring. In the first season, you're not bored in a single episode because it's good. And really, it's just, it's so frustrating that there's so much in the season that is so bad and could have been taken out. Character arcs, people meeting up that didn't need to meet up. All these different episodes with just long gaps of disappointing elements and all these things, character interactions that didn't happen in Season 2. It's all just so underwhelming. And before we get into my positives about the season, we're going to talk about the season finale that just came out, Brave New World. Let's talk about the season finale for a bit. I didn't like it. I didn't like it probably at all. I'd probably give it about a D. It was pretty bad. Let's just say that. I think there were a lot of things that could have happened. Let's just say Riverdale Season 2 doesn't know how to keep someone dead for longer than an episode. Because every person, not every person, but basically every main character that dies, or even a side character, they're not dead. It'll act like they're dead. They're not dead. You'll see them again like next episode. So you have nothing to worry about there, which is good for people. But, yeah. really, the finale was awful. The big, shocking reveal at the end, like to start off season 3, was just so underwhelming. So underwhelming. They could have done such a great job by having something really cool happen at the end to end the season really well, and they didn't. Yeah, it was really, really bad. And I'm not going to spoil that one because it just came out, like it literally just finished, so I'm not going to spoil anything from that episode, but you'll know what I mean when you see it. Okay, so let's get into the good stuff, so I don't have to rail on Riverdale any more than I already have. Here we go, pros of Riverdale Season 2. We're going to get into my favorite episodes of the season, why I like them, why I think they're great. I already told you I think Betty is a major positive for the season, so is Jughead, but he's also a little wonky, if that makes any sense. Alright, favorite episodes. First of all, we're going to talk about episode 21, Judgment Night. Probably one of my favorites of the season. Definitely, if we were putting a top 5, it would be there. It's fantastic. The ending is great, even though they didn't keep that, which I think would be a really powerful ending that they chose to kill Jughead. They didn't keep it, which is okay, because honestly, I'd be not very excited about that, because Jughead's really the only reason I kept watching. So that episode, fantastic. Doubt, the episode before that, is fantastic. Everything in that episode was great. Probably one of the only episodes in this season that I'd give an A+. I thought the episode was fantastic, and it was exciting. It wasn't boring. And that's really all I need from a Riverdale episode. And the last 30 seconds of A Night to Remember, that whole episode is garbage until the last 30 seconds when it brings back the Black Hood. It's great. What I love about Riverdale Season 2 is that the bad parts, I think they realized that it was getting really bad, and they were just like, nope, none of that. Forget all of that. All those character things that just happened, nope. And they just kind of went against it and went back to a normal thing. Basically, you want to know how you fix Riverdale Season 2? Make it 12 episodes. Get the best of those episodes and change it. Then it would be great. Another fantastic episode, we're going back to the very first ones. I think the first episode, fantastic. Brings you back in the mix. I think it's awesome. But my favorite out of the whole season is Riverdale, Episode 6, Death Proof, and 7, Tales from the Dark Side. I think these are two fantastic episodes, and they kind of changed in directing. Some of it was filmed in black and white, which I thought was so cool, and some of it was like really weird, and it felt like it kind of a spy movie, and I thought that was awesome. It was a cool change, and I really, really enjoyed that. So those episodes really brought the season to life. Like I said, the first about 10, fantastic. Big gap there where it really sucks. Not a single thing that I could really say positive about it. And then you hit the last couple episodes, which are great, until the finale, which is also kind of bogged down. So let's get into my final verdict of Riverdale Season 2. Okay, guys, so if I had to describe Riverdale Season 2 in one word, it would probably be underwhelming. Because really it is. And, I mean, it's hard for a Season 2 to live up for such a fantastic season of Riverdale. The first season of Riverdale is probably one of my favorite TV shows, like, back then and now. Just watching 30 seconds, like, oh, that's so refreshing, because it's so good. So, Riverdale Season 2 was really, really kind of unsettling to me. I felt like they could have done a lot better that they didn't do. Not to say that the season, I've already bailed on it too hard, so we're going to talk about, I liked some things about the season, I really didn't like some things about the season, so kind of more of a bad bag than a mixed bag, and I'm going to give Riverdale Season 2 a C. I think it's alright. There's a couple really great episodes in there that I pointed out, a couple good character changes, some good direction in there, and yeah, stuff like that, but there's so many episodes in there that really are just awful and unsettling, and I don't like them, so yeah. That's 22 episodes in one video, so I'm sorry this is really long, but I did need to talk about a lot. So, will I be watching Riverdale Season 3? Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it either way. Even if it sucks, I'll keep enduring because Betty and Jughead are amazing, and they're the only reason I kept watching this season. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want more Riverdale videos, just be sure to like this one, comment about it, and maybe I'll make a video about more in-depth of the best of the seasons. Look out for my top 5 Marvel movies coming soon, and also my review of The Office Season 2. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Riverdale Season 2 review. Thank you.